Hey guys, it's PK. I am continuing the holiday replay pack once again, and this time I'm facing a player named Stay Classy. And Stay Classy, I did not know this at the time of the battle, but it is a alt for Lavos, who is one of the best players in the Advanced OU tier by far. And I'm not going to talk about it anymore. He's just really good, and this is a fun battle. So here we go. And there we go. Metagross versus Aerodactyl. That is how the battle starts. We greet each other, and he compliments me on my channel, so that's always good, coming from a high-class player like that. That really makes me feel good. He switches in the incoming Meteor Mash, and the Meteor Mash misses. And he brings in his Skarmory to take the Meteor Mash. I go for HP Fly, but he whirlwinds me out, and he whirlwinds the Flygon. I go for Fire Blast, and he spikes up in the process. I go for Fire Blast again because I'm locked into it, because this is a choice band Flygon. And yep, the Swampert is going to force me to switch out here. I go to my Gyarados, and the Earthquake the Swampert uses misses because I am resistant to it, because I am a flying type. And Lavos is kind of surprised by the Gyarados, which, you know, Gyarados is always fun. It's not as often seen because it's hard to fit into a team, but when you do, it's really effective. Anyway, I bring my Bliss in on the Zapdos, and he's going to force the switch here, goes to his T-Tar, but he takes an Ice Beam in the process. I switch here, and I take Spikes damage with my Swampert, and he takes the opportunity to sub up. So it's probably a sub punch set, but we don't know what kind it is. We don't know if it's special or physical. Go for Earthquake here, and I have to take the Focus Punch in the process, but I do break the sub, so he's probably going to be forced to switch here. I could go for Earthquake, but he's probably going to go to an Earthquake resistant poke, so I'm going to go for Hydro Pump instead, which will KO the Tyranitar if he stays in, and do good damage to whatever he switches out into. And he switches out into the Zapdos. So, yep, it takes Hydro Pump, and it does 24%. I bring my Flygon in. He decides to double switch into his T-Tar again. Probably not what he wanted to switch into, though. Go for Rock Slide, anticipating a switch into Zapdos to take an Earthquake coming. Doesn't do that. Hits the Skarmory, but Skarmory's going to die next turn, so he's going to be forced to switch back to his Swampert, which takes the Rock Slide much better. I'm going to be forced to switch out here. I get my Gyarados back into the Swampert, just like before. And yeah, it has to take an Ice Beam in the process. I switch again, and he goes to his Zapdos, and I go for Rock Slide again. He switches back to his Swampert, and we're going to repeat what happened a few turns ago. I'm going to go back to my Gyarados. We have to take another Ice Beam. This is not going to work in the long run, because my Gyarados is eventually going to die from Ice Beam if we continue this cycle of switches. So I'm going to go and switch things up a bit, no pun intended, and go to my Blissey instead. He goes to Zapdos this time. Thinking I go staying with the Gyarados, I guess. And I go for Ice Beam on the Zapdos. He brings his T-Tar again on the Blissey like before. Probably going to sub up here. I go to my Flygon, which was a mistake. I overpredicted. I thought he would go for Rock Slide, thinking I'd go to a Focus Punch resistant poke, knowing I knew he had Focus Punch. However, he just goes for Focus Punch straight up. I try to go for Earthquake this time. He predicts correctly, goes to his Skarmory, and yep, he's probably going to rest off here. He's worried it's not choice banded since I did use Fire Blast. However, it is, and he does, and I'm going to be forced to switch here, so he gets the rest off. So he's happy about that. I do get the Gengar in here, and I go for Thunderbolt, trying to damage the Skarmory, but I get the Zapdos instead. I go to my Blissey here, thinking he'd go for Thunderbolt, but he takes the opportunity to go for Rest. So he's healing off his pokes at this point. Goes for HP Ice or Grass with Sleep Talk. I don't know why he did that. I go for Ice Beam, damage to Zapdos. Go for Ice Beam again, and I hit the T-Tar, and this time I do get a freeze. I do not know why I keep getting freezes with this Blissey Ice Beam. I do not have Serene Grace on with the Blissey, so yeah, this is kind of bad for him. This is pretty crucial hacks unfortunately. I feel bad for him, but I do get the T-Tar killed for free, so it's a 6-5 game. Takes the opportunity to bring his Scummer in, who is asleep. He does not know I have Thunderball on this Blissey. I Calm Mind up. He sleep talks, and I go for Thunderbolt, which is 85% at +1 for my Blissey. He's going to be forced to switch here. If he did want to switch, but he just gets a layer of spikes up in exchange for killing off his Blissey. So those spikes are there to stay. I guess he realized I did not have a spinner on this team, so he just decided to just get a layer of spikes up, and I guess I can't blame him for that. Shows me a Poke I haven't seen before, which is the Aerodactyl, and I thinking he'd use Rock Slide, go with my Flygon, but he uses Double Edge. But now I'm thinking it's probably Choice Banded, and he's probably locked therefore into Double Edge. So I can go to Swampert, although I would have to take Spikes damage in the process. So I figure I might as well go to Gengar instead, which will not take any damage from the Aerodactyl because it's locked into Double Edge. So he's going to be forced to switch here, presuming it's Choice Banded. I go for Ice Punch, knowing he'd hit pretty much on his team for either neutral or super effective damage. And I hit the Swampert. I do have Giga Drain here, and I try to go for it, but he goes to Zapdos instead. Zapdos is asleep, I'm at full health, and I'm faster, presumably. So I go for Ice Punch here. He goes for Sleep Talk, and the Thunderbolt does connect. However, because I'm faster, I will be able to take out the Zapdos next turn if he stays in here. If not, yeah. This Gengar looks like it's a pretty good position to be a problem for his team. The Aerodactyl doesn't want to take it, the Swampert does not want to take it, the Zapdos does not want to take it. Although I haven't seen the last poke on his team, so I don't know. He decides to Fodder it off to bring in his his Aerodactyl for free, and him being having the faster poke, I'm going to be forced to switch out here. Goes for presumably HP Fly. Metagross takes that pretty well because it's locked in. The Aerodactyl's locked into it. He's going to be forced to switch here. Go for Psychic, knowing it'll take do neutral damage to anything he switches into. This case being the Swampert. So it's 30%, which is pretty good. Could go for Explosion here and just take out the Swampert. However, the threat of Protect makes me not want to do that. So I go to my Gyarados instead, this is probably a stupid thing I did during this game. I don't know really what I'm going to do here with the Gyarados. I see the Dragon Dance up. I'm not going to be able to take out the Swampert when it's at 70%, even though I have +1 the Gyarados, and I will die from an Ice Beam next turn. So I just decided to, say screw it. I fought off my Gyarados in order to do 44% to the Swampert. I do get my Gengar in though, and the Swampert is on low health, so I decided to go for Giga Drain nonetheless. And now Aerodactyl, being faster, is going to be able to attack me now. So I gotta decide what to switch into. I go with my Swampert, and the Rock Slide does nothing to it, and he's locked into that. So I'm gonna decide whether to go for Hydro Pump, Ice Beam, but I decided to go for Toxic instead. And it lands on the last poke of his, which is the Flygon. Decides to go for Earthquake. It's not Choice Banded, so it does not kill me, and I get a crit with the Ice Beam. However, the crit did not matter. I'm almost positive about that. So it's a 4-2 game. Brings in his Swampert. It's definitely within kill range for Hydro Pump, so I'm going to try to do that. In the comment section, he complains that he wouldn't be in this position if it was not for the Tyranitar freeze hacks. I agree with him completely. It's not really up to debate. Tyranitar was giving me huge problems. It was really preventing me from switching in freely, and I would have to take damage in the process, a lot of damage in the process to do it. So Tyranitar getting frozen was huge hacks, but I brought you this game because I thought the content pretty much overrid the hacks. But anyway, I managed to take out the Swampert, and now the Aerodactyl is pretty much not going to be able to do anything. And add salt to injury, the Rock Slide misses, and I take it out with Hydro Pump. So I win this 4-0, but you know, the hacks did matter, but like I said, I felt like the content of the game pretty much was better than anything the freeze hacks could do to diminish the content of the game, so this is why I brought you the game. Thought it was high level play, a lot of double switches, a lot of predictions going around. So yeah, hope you enjoyed it, aside from the freeze hacks. And I would like to thank Lavos for, if he's watching this, for the compliment to my channel. I really appreciate that, coming from a guy like you. But enough kissing ass. Rate, subscribe, and comment. It's the third one, yes. And look forward to the next battle.